Birthdays to your birthday. Happy late birthdays in the past. Happy future birthdays in the future. My name is Lime Green, and you know what is coming up in a couple days? It's Pokemon Day, and you know what else? It's the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. So normally around Pokemon Day, I try and make like prediction videos, trying to get in Game Freak's head. You know, trying to see what they're planning. But I think we all know like what they're gonna do for their 30th. They're just gonna release the 10th generation of Pokemon. So instead of trying to predict what we kind of all know, I decided to make 10 things I would really like to see for the 10th generation. Now, I'm not expecting these things, and I'll just be happy with one of them. But these are just 10 things I would want to see in any generation coming up in the future. And I know they're like, some of them are far-reaching than others. So the further we go, the crazier they are. So here we are. Number 1. Return. What? Don't look. Return of older. And some of these are gonna need explanations. Older characters. No Battle Mason. So what do I mean by that? In Black and White 2, Black 2, White 2, we really had like a bunch of characters coming together. Older gym leaders. Even in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, you had the Sinnoh gym leaders just hanging out in Johto. Like, you could interact with them. You couldn't really battle them. Sun and Moon, we had Red and Blue come back. I think we even had Cynthia. And we had Cynthia in Black and White on Delatown. Remember that? But, you know, I want something like Black and White 2 where, you know, you could rematch, you know, older champions or gym leaders or something like that. You know, see them interact a bit. See what they've been up to. They don't even need to be older. You know, I'll settle for them being the same age we left them at. If it really comes down to it, I just want to see Rourke. I want to see Misty. I want to see Brock. I want to see Gardenia. Viola. I want to see everyone. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, they had all the villains. Give me some villains. You know, give me anyone you can. Like, Sun and Moon. Was it Sun and Moon or was it Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon? They had Grimsley comes back. See, stuff like that, that's cool. But I want, like, a whole bunch of them, right? Jasmine and Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. Crazy post-game. Now, what do I mean by that? People would say, oh man, Battle Frontier. People would say, like, a Johto level post-game. I just want to be surprised. I feel like the Scarlet Violet DLCs, that was good, right? You know how I feel about Sword and Shield. I felt like their post-game DLCs, that was pretty good. I want something on the level of those. And, you know, Johto. But, you know, it's something we want, but we just don't know it yet. If that makes sense. Okay, number 3. Incorporate sprite work in some way. In Scarlet Violet, the Psychic Gym, it had sprites from Gen 1 on the side. And that just made me think, in Dragon Quest XI Echoes S, Elusive Age, something. You had a button that could just toggle between like sprites and 3D models. Pokemon, you could do something like that, or just have like I don't know, like in the menu you have like the old Game Boy sprites, something like that. Incorporate sprites in some way. I feel like that speaks for itself. Number 4. More convergent evolutions. I feel like this is self-explanatory. We had Wiglet, Wugtrio, Toedscool, and Toedscool. Right? 4 Pokemon. When they introduced this, they're like, oh man, this is gonna be the next big thing. We got 4 Pokemon. Right? I hope it comes back in the next generation. It better. It better. Number 5. A reason to catch older Pokemon. The Pokemon Go problem, right? Now, this one I know it's gonna need some explaining. So, don't look. Now, I have played every mainline Pokemon. Some of the spin-offs. I'm not going to say I've played them all. I've played the majority of them. And I Pokemon bank my Pokemon, right? I know not everyone does, but I know a fair number of people that do. I think it's becoming a problem. Ever since Pokemon Go, and I'm calling it the Pokemon Go problem, that in Pokemon Go, you catch a whole bunch of Pokemon to turn into candy to give your Pokemon to level them up, right? And since then, it's turned Pokemon into like, oh man, let's go catch 30 Tauros to just try and get, you know, the perfect Tauros. And then like Kanto, that was seen as like a joke, right? You're only like meant to catch, you know, your Tauros, make it the best Tauros you could make it, you know, grow an attachment to the Tauros. Now, you just have boxes and boxes of the same Pokemon over and over, and you don't really have an attachment to every single Tauros. And Pokemon home boxes, they're looking ridiculous. And when I go into a new generation and they say, hey, why don't you catch a Tauros? I'm like, alright, well, I'll catch a Paldean Tauros. I've never seen that one before. But I'm not catching Cantonian Tauros. I already have one I caught in Kanto. That doesn't make any sense. I've grown attached to that for years. You know? I'm not sure what the solution is, but I think it's like a problem that's like rooted itself into Pokemon as a whole, right? And I have no idea what they could do to solve it. Number 6, you join an evil team. This one requires a bit of spoilers. So spoilers for ZA and spoilers for Scarlet Violet. In Scarlet Violet, Cassiopeia turns out to be Penny. So the evil team leader turns out to be, not that evil, and you kind of team up with the evil team. In ZA, I call him Cornball. He also turns out to be not so bad, and you work with him, and part of the game, I just have to mention this. You make like a human ladder, and you can walk up all the leaders and to the top of the building, and then they fall down, and then you can do that infinitely. That's my favorite part of ZA. Now I feel like that's the next level of that would be like you becoming part of the evil team, because you already have friends in the evil team in previous games, leaders. Colosseum did something like on the GameCube. Spoilers. Well, kinda. I feel like it'll tell you on the back of the box. It's right over there. But, I feel like this is just a natural progression. Number 7. Now, this might be wild for you. Your Pokemon get taken away from you. Now, you might be like, no, my shiny Weedle. I'm talking like 20 minutes. Maybe like 4 battles. But imagine, like, the reactions on YouTube. People would be losing their minds. That would get, like, the craziest reactions. They would be like, oh, no! And they would be like, I never want to play this game again. And then they play, like, 4 more battles, and they would be like, oh, I finally saved my Weedle. This is the best Pokemon game ever. That would elevate the stakes dramatically. I felt like they were going to do something like this in Sun Moon, where Team Skull takes over the Pokemon Center and that whole town. That kind of was like something like that. They could have done something like that, but Team Skull, they're pretty nice guys. Number 8. More things than that just battles. Alright, I've been banging this drum for a while. In the anime, there's other things than just trainers, right? There's contests, there's musicals, there's all sorts of things. Breeders, I want to be able to roll the credits of a Pokemon game, a mainline Pokemon game, by just not battling. Right? I feel like that's... And they kind of did something like that. In Pokemon Scarlet, Violet, they said there's 3 routes you can do. And there were, like, the Arven's route, the Pokemon Gym Challenge, and then Cassiopeia type of Team Star, right? But at the end of the day, they were just all Pokemon battles. If I want to do, like, the Coordinator Challenge, I should be just able to do the Pokemon Coordinator Challenge, right? I want to see what life is like for people that just have Pokemon and don't battle. Okay, number 9. Now we're getting into, like, the crazy stuff. If we haven't already for you. An RPG party system. Okay, Lime Green, what do you mean by that? In Kalos, the original Kalos games, XY, you had Tyrano, Shauna, Trevor, Calum, you had the other one, whatever her name is, I don't know. You had like 5 people. But nobody really vibed with a lot of them until like the anime or something. And even then, people were like, I'm not really vibing. And then in ZA, you kind of have like the same like a bunch of party members. I feel like Pokemon should take a cue from the anime in this department, where you have your team of 6, and then get ready for this, you have like 2 or 3 other like people following around with you. You're doing your camping, and then they also have Pokemon, and then you can like switch off between them and like manage their Pokemon, and it can be like a double battle situation. It can be like you're managing their Pokemon in battles, like something like that. You know? That way, it doesn't seem like, oh man, I'm being followed around by Trevor and he's just telling me Pokedex facts. You know? I have an actual Pokedex for that. But you're managing other party members. You know? Number 10. And this is my favorite one. The ability to rematch important characters. I've said on this channel, I love the Pokegear in Generation 2. And all I want to do is call people on my Pokegear. This doesn't have to be that. All I want to be is rematch people, talk to them, be like, hey, how you doing, Wallace? Price, how's it been? And then, like, catch up with them. See what Grimsley's been doing since Unova. You know? And, I guess that's it. In a nutshell. Those are 10 things I want in Generation 10 or onwards. Give me these in Generation 15. But what do you think of all these things? Do you want all these things too in Generation 45? Let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you in Generation 45. Bye bye.